get the PowerPoint open, but you guys are feel free to like keep yourselves unmuted. And if you have questions as we go through, you can ask. So,
Okay.
today we're going to talk about stress, sleep, and emotions. And this is a really fun topic for me because if I'm fully transparent, when I first heard about essential oils, I was kind of turned off to them because of like this sort of conversation where it feels like people would talk about them as like a this thing that just kind of like took away this bad emotion you had or whatever. And it just seems very like abstract and out there, and I didn't understand any of the science when it like or around this topic, and so it was really hard for me to like have openness when it came to this. So as we go into the class, I wanted to start by first just talking about different sources of stress, because stress, in my opinion, is something that we really do need to have like a lot more conversation about when it comes to health. I think a lot of times when people think about living a healthy lifestyle, they think about things like their food and exercise, which those are of course really important things, but our stress levels and are actually like, I mean, it's one of the biggest things that's causing disease, definitely, because life has just changed so much. Like, even if we talk about like our phones and the way that impacts us alone, it's like it honestly it does create another stressor because our brains are just always being occupied if we're on our devices a lot. Anyways, so when you boil it down, there really are um different types of stress, and so this kind of just gives you some different options or examples of stress. So there's of course life circumstances, and a lot of times some of these things we can't control as much, right? And then there's emotional and mental stress, where it's more like how we personally are interacting and dealing with like uncertainty or like maybe conflicting um values that we're either processing or things that are going on in the world, like what I mentioned before, constant technology and demands from notifications. These specifically, obviously we can do things more in this area where we learn healthier ways to cope with the stress, or we can decide to create boundaries with technology to create less stress in our life. We can do like counseling or therapy where we like talk about things from childhood that help us to like process through our world in a different way and acknowledge, maybe something that isn't a healthy coping mechanism that we've always done our whole life. And then there's also like physical stress. So like this can be what we're talking about before. This is like poor diet, late nights, um, or lack of routine, misuse of things like alcohol or drugs, illness, injury, infertility. Of course, like jobs, like having like a really physically taxing job can be stressful. um there's honestly like so many more things that we could add onto this, right? Even just like sitting all the time, not moving, that's a source of stress on our body. But anyways, I feel like this is helpful because we can break it down, right? And we can all assess these different areas and think about like, okay, where do I have some control and some ability to be able to minimize the stress that my body's experiencing. And so to just give you an example, I've shared before on these classes, I think everybody on here has been on one of my classes before, but my husband was diagnosed with an autoimmune condition in 2016. And when we first went to a functional doctor, he asked like literally so many questions. We have never been asked so many questions by a doctor in our whole life. He was just very, very like trying to get the big picture and everything that could factor into this disease diagnosis he had had. And after like, him doing all that and some testing and everything, he informed us that Tyler had Graves' disease. And he was talking, we were just asking a lot of questions, to be honest, because we had already started making some healthy lifestyle switches. And so we were like, why did this happen? Like, and basically he explained, well, you've only made changes for this much of Tyler's life and he's this old, first of all. And then second, he said, it's interesting, like talking to Tyler about stress, because he said that his job is really stressful. And a lot of times what I see with autoimmune diagnoses, or really any big disease being diagnosed, is that it usually happens after a season of prolonged, intense stress. And so I think that's just like something interesting for us all to think about. Again, it's just like stress has so much impact, not just on like how we're feeling and handling it, but it's also like on the big picture of our health. And so it is a serious thing to be aware of and be intentional about as we're caring for our bodies. So I want to take a break now and just have you guys like do your own personal assessment. You don't have to share this in the chat or anything like that, but on a scale of 1 to 10, 1 being not at all, 10 being this is a big problem, how often are you aware of being just stressed in day-to-day life? You can write it down on paper or just think of it in your head if you want. But how often do you think like, wow, I'm so stressed? Does that happen often in the day-to-day? Second question, how concerned are you about the quantity and quality of your sleep? And then number 3, how frequently do your emotions feel difficult to manage appropriately? Tiny humans have a way of making me feel emotions that are difficult to manage at times. I'm joking. All the moms, well, anyway, yeah, I'm like, when you care for children, just a little funny. So now I want to talk about just like some basics of our body. So the hypothalamus is a part of our brain. It's like a little control tower, like it says on the screen. And basically, when we're stressed, our hypothalamus will send out stress hormone, otherwise known as cortisol. And at the end of the day, the hypothalamus is there to protect us. But obviously, when we go through seasons of really prolonged stress, this can cause a lot of issues in our health. And so there's all sorts of different symptoms we can experience when we have chronic stress. You guys can see all those on the screen. But then what I think this last stat that is here on the screen is like just so empowering. So it says 70% of problems sleeping are related to psychophysiological issues. So meaning basically that it's 70% of our problems sleeping often have to do with things that we're processing in our brains, and we can have more control over them. 15% are environmental and 15% are medical. But basically, increased cortisol or increased stress is what is decreasing our melatonin levels. So the melatonin's not able to rise the way we need it to be able to sleep. Melatonin is a hormone that helps our body to fall asleep at night. So basically what happens is in the morning we wake up and our cortisol should be at a peak, like the highest it is at any point. And then during the day, our cortisol goes down, down, down. And then the opposite, melatonin starts low in the beginning of the day and it goes high, high, high. And melatonin is at its peak before we go to sleep, because melatonin is what helps us to fall asleep. Cortisol is what's supposed to help us wake up in the morning. So when we have too high of cortisol at the night, at the end of the day, then our melatonin can't rise, can't help us to fall asleep and have a great quality of sleep. So anyways, what I want you guys to get through all of this is just that stress is a really big deal and it impacts our sleep in a lot of ways. So really this class, we're going to talk a lot about emotions and how to use essential oils to support a decrease in our stress, and therefore we're able to support our sleep as well. And I'm going to give you guys like different recipes and all that sort of thing. So and we'll talk about some testimonies from different people that have tested out oils or supplements from doTERRA for these sorts of things. So again, these what you see on the screen, these are just like all examples of ways that we feel. They're physical indicators of how we feel our emotions. Because, I think we all, it's just our emotions have a big, big impact on the way our body is doing. So like for me, for instance, when I get really stressed, I get really tense in my shoulder, and this is like a physical outworking of my stress. Some people get really stressed and they like feel like they're gonna throw up. Like, does anybody know anybody like that? Like they're nervous about something and then their like tummy is like in knots. Yeah, Cecilia. Yeah, so we all carry our stress in different ways, but obviously like our emotions are highly connected to how our physical body is doing. So again, just a question for you to process is how does stress affect you? Like, do you notice it causing a loss of focus? I definitely do. Do you get headaches when you're stressed? Do you ever notice like a rapid heartbeat? I know my husband definitely, his heart goes crazy when he is stressed. Do you notice that you have poor sleep habits, or maybe you're just not sleeping as well? And what about like, how does it affect your eating habits? So we can see how like stress just like it spirals kind of everything. And it's ironic that I'm teaching this class this week because this week has been a really full week, which therefore it caused a lot of stress. Anyways, so this is just another great graphic that I feel like breaks down all the connections that are within our body. Our digestive tract, there's different hormones that are built within our digestive tract, and they influence neurotransmitters, stress and anxiety, mood, behavior, all that kind of stuff that's happening within our brain. And our obviously like different emotions, all the things that the neurotransmitters, everything that's going on in our brain then can cause issues with like weight gain or like bowel movement issues or nutrient delivery within our body. Even like the balance of good and bad bacteria within our digestive system. So like our gut and stress is all really, really correlated, and that's why it's important. It says vagus nerve on here because your vagus nerve is basically something that controls a lot of what we're talking about. So of just a funny question is, did you know that when you hum or when you sing, it's actually really, really good for your vagus nerve and it can help you relax? So I don't know, like I have a friend, she knows that her mom, this is, well, yeah, a friend that knows her mom has like, her whole life has had like different struggles with anxiety and stuff like that. And her mom like is always humming. Her mom didn't even know that this is a way to support your vagus nerve. But do you ever catch yourself like just like humming or singing a song? It's like your body is almost like instinctually doing stuff to support your own like relaxation, so yeah, if you ever have that like instinct to do that, it is actually really, really great for relaxing. I love putting on worship music. It's a great way that I calm down. And I'm like, wow, there's like science to this. This is so cool. So now we're going to talk about essential oils, because essential oils, what I love about essential oils is, number one, there is science to how essential oils support our emotions. But number two, when we use our essential oils, we can also use it in a way where we habit stack. That's what I like to call it. Meaning when I reach out my Balance essential oil, like I did this morning, and I apply it on my pulse points to help like just like start my day off from a grounded place, it's a great reminder for me for me, I will pray. For other people, they might like say a gratitude, which I do this sometimes too. Like I'll use my oils, and I like when I do my skincare routine at night, a lot of times I try to think about things that I'm grateful for that happened throughout the day, which is another great way to support your or a decrease in stress levels, help you to wind down, all that kind of thing. But that's a side note. We'll talk more about that in a second. So essentially, essential oils, the science behind them is that they are all made out of different chemical constituents. And we smell those chemical constituents when we're like in a flower garden and when we're in a big old forest with trees, like we're smelling the essential oils. And those little chemical constituents, when we smell them, there's a nerve right here behind the bridge of our nose that's called the olfactory nerve. And basically those chemical constituents go up this nerve and then they impact this front part of your brain. And this is where the limbic system is, like where the hypothalamus is, and a lot of different things that control our emotions. And so I like to think of essential oils as a tool that helps us to regulate our emotions. Because obviously it's not going to like force you to not be stressed, but just by even like pulling out the oil, smelling it, taking a deep breath, we have a tool that's enabling us to like ground ourselves and get to more of a place of like healthy homeostasis for our body. So one other thing that I like to point out that I think all of us have experienced. Well, okay. So a helpful thing to know is our eyes have 3 different types of photoreceptors, the way that basically our eyes register in our brain what we're seeing. And our bodies actually have over 1 trillion different smell receptors. So that's like fact number 1, where I'm like, smell is really important to our bodies, right? And when we step into a new like atmosphere or like new room, the smell actually registers in our brain a fraction of a second back faster than what we're seeing registers. So again, like smell is just really important. It's in it. Remember, we're talking about how well, okay, so smell is really important. It impacts this part of our brain, affecting our emotions, and then affects so many other parts of our physical experience and the symptoms that we're having. So, another thing that I like to talk about specifically, I'm like giving you guys a lot of different random facts, but I feel like these were all the little snippets that helped me to understand like the science behind using essential oils for emotions. Because I think if we don't have that as our foundation, if we're still skeptical in our brain, we're not going to like fully commit to using it consistently so we can actually see results, right? So the other thing I like to point out is we all have different memories that are triggered, or like we remember the memory because of a certain smell. And a lot of times that smell also brings like a certain emotion too. So like for instance, like the smell of cheesecake to me like just reminds me of like holidays as a child growing up, and it just makes me happy, not just because it tastes good, because cheesecake does taste really good, but it's like the smell just like brings me right back to childhood and just like the innocence of celebrating holidays with our family and how sweet it was for me as a kid. And we also have, smells that like instantly bring about a negative emotion. Like I don't even know that it's a specific cologne, but like there's like just like the smell of cologne kind of reminds me of one of my boyfriends in high school, and it just like kind of like I don't know, makes me grumpy or something. I don't know how to describe it. I don't like it. So anyways, we all have those experiences, and what I love about that in particular is we can leverage that with essential oils. So if you have some sort of practice you do on a regular basis, whether it's like journaling or again, like reading your Bible, meditation, worship music, anything that you're doing specifically to help you come to like a peaceful state, you can use a specific essential oil and then use it again later at other times throughout the day. And it helps you come back to that same space that you were at earlier in the day. When you were in a peaceful state. So hopefully before I go into like some specific protocols, do you guys have any like questions about any of that, or observations, anything you want to like dialogue more about those things? I just saw Kizzy asked, does the vagus nerve relax the same when you listen to music? No, it's actually something related to like the vibrations, like this is what I understood of it. But honestly, you could Google ways to support vagal health tone, or vagal tone health. And it will give you different ideas. One of them's humming. You can do cold showers. That's really good for your vagus nerve. Yeah. And I honestly, there's something about like massaging back here, because I think your vagus nerve like is more back here. So that's why sometimes I'll apply my essential oils here and just like massage down. That's another way to support your vagus nerve. But yeah, I don't think listening to music is one. It's like specifically humming or singing. It's something with your vocal cords and the way that it like vibrates by the vagal nerve or vagus nerve.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Side note on the stress stuff, I was telling Kizzy, like, I did not really think that I was a stressed out person until
Yeah.
I started doing all of like these training videos. People were describing how they felt when they were stressed out. I'm like, huh. I just
It's
thought my heart was failing. I was like, no, it's stress. Like,
totally. I think that's so true. It's like something where it's like, I think from like maybe a coping place, or maybe, I don't know, even I'm sure some psychologists could tell us all about this. It's probably something from our childhood or something. But like Tyler was the same way. He didn't really like realize how stressed he was until it was like somebody gave him permission almost to be like, or and then he like was reflecting and actually thinking about it, and then he's like, wait, I am actually really stressed.
Kizzy kept sending me all this adaptive stuff. I'm like, I don't need this. Like, maybe I do.
It's so funny. We've all been there. Yeah, totally. Oh, so great. Thanks for sharing. So I want to give you guys some examples of different ways you can use your oils for stress. One, when we use oils topically, of course, they absorb into our bloodstream. And this blend right here with 10 drops of Balance, Serenity, and Citrus Bliss, there's so many different names for the blends, but I can't remember. In our Facebook community, people will talk about it as like something for mamas. I can't remember what it's called. It's like stressed out mama or something like that. But anyways, it does smell really, really great. And I mentioned already what I like to do with Balance, but Balance, you can put it in a roller bottle, or you can blend it with these other things. I encourage you, when you're going to use something topically or in the diffuser, like choose something that you just feel drawn to, like you really enjoy the smell of, because I think your nose just knows, right? It knows what you're responding well to. So if there's something you smell and you're just like, my friend Callie, she's Southern, so she's just a hoot sometimes. And she talks about Balance, and she's like, I wish somebody would just grab me by the ponytail and dunk me in the bottle of it. Like that's how Balance makes her feel. She loves Balance so much. But yeah, picking an oil where it's like that, you just like love the smell of it so much, that's going to be a great one for you to use. And this is just an example of one that lots of people really love using, the combo of the three of these. And then when you roll it on your pulse points, like I mentioned, you can like even massage. You don't have to, but this is a way to get, again, just support your vagus nerve. And also there's like pulse points that are here as well. So it's a quick way to access your bloodstream. I also will do on my wrists. And again, I use it as an opportunity to habit stack. So I have blends or roller bottles that I use for stress and emotional support. But also they're like kind of a natural perfume for me. And I have them like literally in my purse and in my work bag, and sitting by my toothpaste in the morning, so I remember to put it on. I have them like spaced out strategically so I remember to use them at different points. And when I use them, it's again an opportunity to like take a pause. Sometimes it's literally like deep breath. That was a lot. I'm just going to pause for a second. Sometimes it's praying. Sometimes it's thinking about something I'm grateful for, but use it as an intentional moment. to take a deep breath and just pause and see how you're doing. Not be on your phone and like rolling it on at the same time, but instead like pausing. Diffusing, of course, we talked about how like when we breathe the oils in, they go up this nerve and then impact this part of our brain. And I like to, again, think strategically of this is a blend that I'm like, I don't even think I've ever made this one before. This is very complicated, 5 different oils, but it probably smells really good. So it's worth trying. And I will tell you guys, one second here. One of my favorite things to do is when I find a blend that I love that's multiple oils, I will take an empty old bottle and I put all of the oils with the appropriate, like say it's 4 drops of a certain one, I just multiply it. And then I like, you can't, well, yeah, this is like halfway full. So I add them all to the bottle and then it's already pre-blended. And then by my diffuser, I have like a jar of water. So I don't, when I'm filling up my diffuser, I'm not always having to like open up 4 oil bottles and I don't have to run to my sink every time, but instead I have the stuff prepared there to use it. Because I've just found that when I do that, I'm a lot more likely to diffuse on a regular basis because I have those
That's a good
things
idea.
prepared for me. Yeah. We're not going to talk a ton about the science of it today, but doTERRA's Lifelong Vitality Pack, I will just tell you, has helped a lot of people to, even with the help of their doctor, work off different medications for stress and emotions. But essentially the omegas in there are really, really important for brain health. And a lot of people are not getting the amount of good fats that they need in their diet, especially like Midwest, like so many different places. If you don't live next to an ocean, you're probably not getting a lot of good seafood in your diet, and therefore we don't get enough of those good omegas that are really important for our brain health. And the alpha CRS and the microplex have a lot of different vitamins and minerals that help to support our emotional well-being as well. And then the adaptive capsules are a capsule that is made out of copaiba and GABA and multiple different selenium, I guess, or selenium. I can't remember how to say it, but the adaptive capsules, there's some really cool testimonies that I'll share with you guys in a bit, but those are great ways to, on a regular basis, if you're somebody that needs extra support, these are great options to support your mental, emotional well-being, as well as your physical. To be honest, the Lifelong Vitality is just kind of like a great baseline foundational supplement pack. And then we've already talked a lot about different lifestyle things, but like deep breathing is really, really supportive for getting your body into a relaxed state. So an example is like when you're going to bed at night and you're just laying on your pillow, especially if you're somebody that struggles with sleep. I mean, I do this too, and I honestly fall asleep in like 3 minutes, like very quickly every night. I'm always so tired, because I probably don't get enough sleep. But anyway, I put the oils in my diffuser, and I'm like, I've done my whole nighttime routine. I like have to talk about it. Okay, so you know how babies, like if a baby's struggling to sleep, we do a nighttime routine with them. Like anybody, like when a baby's struggling to sleep, I'm like, I remember like Elliot, my first terrible sleeper. So everybody's like, you have to have a nighttime routine for him. And so we did, right? And the reason we do that is because it helps the brain to start producing more melatonin, and your body is just like, oh, these are the things we do. And now like, I'm going to go to sleep soon. Like your body recognizes those things. And when we do them the same every single night, it helps our body to get in a routine. So if you don't have a nighttime routine, you should have a nighttime routine. But anyways, once you've done your nighttime routine, you're laying in your bed, you're trying to fall asleep. One great way to help your body relax is to do deep breathing. And so even doing something called square breathing, you breathe in for 4, you hold for 4, you breathe out for 4, and then you hold again for 4. And you just do that over and over, like for 2 minutes. And it is amazing how quickly that can help your body get from a state of like stress or overwhelm to like calmness. So I mean, you can do that before bed, but really you can do that at any point throughout the day as a means to like help support your body and getting out of that like constant cortisol overwhelm. So other ways, of course, to support mental health, like working out and movement is really, really important. And again, like this is something that I think is so hard because it's like what Georgia said, where it's like, first of all, we have to acknowledge that we have stress in our life and we have to like see it and not be in denial about it and just be honest. Like, yes, I have stress. And most people do have lots of stress going on. And so we have to start with that. And then we have to choose to like show ourselves grace and love and take action in it. And so sometimes that might look like you have a billion things to do and you decide to take 5 to 10 minutes and go on a walk outside and then you come back inside. It's amazing what like sunshine and movement can do. But anyways, those are all examples. The last one I'll say is I love taking peppermint or breathe in the palms of my hands. Those aren't necessarily ones that you think about as being a calming essential oil, but they definitely help create more of an awareness of your breath and help you to like open your lungs fully. And peppermint is proven to get 10 or help you get 10% more oxygen to your brain. Which oxygen, of course, is really important for us to have like clear thinking, all that kind of stuff. So I love using those oils even as a way to create awareness of my breath. Cause I think, again, we've probably all been in a situation where you're stressed and suddenly you realize like, whoa, I'm not like breathing fully, or like we're taking really shallow breaths. And deep breathing is how you get lots of oxygen and how your body gets into a rest state. There's so much more I could talk about breathing, because also breathing through your nose is really important, especially when you sleep. So if you are somebody that is breathing through your mouth all the time at night, that's maybe something to look into. And you guys can, I think most of you have my phone number, so you can text me on my business line if you want more information about this. But there's a lot of science about why nose breathing helps your body get into a state of rest and digest mode instead of fight or flight. And you actually get much, much better sleep when you're breathing through your nose. And so again, that's why I like diffusing at night, because if you're somebody that struggles with like maybe your airways are a little bit plugged and that's why you can't breathe through your nose, then use your breathe, use the eucalyptus, peppermint, all those oils to help open your airways. I actually most nights for like the last year have used tape, and I tape my mouth shut to like keep it shut throughout the night. And it sounds crazy, but it's like there's a lot of people in the health world that have been talking about it, and I love it. And honestly, so okay, I keep going on tangents. I'm gonna stop soon. This little ring, it like tracks my sleep at night. It's called an Aura ring. And my husband actually got one. You have too.
I
Okay.
do.
That's amazing. So my husband noticed that when he was mouth taping that he was getting better sleep. And so anyways, he had been definitely mouth breathing, and it was just proof to what I had already been reading and telling him about. I'm like, you're breathing through your mouth at night. I can hear you. It's not good for you. Anyways,
Tape your
yeah.
mouth shut. Like, how do you do that?
Put duct tape over your mouth. What?
Yeah, I just literally use athletic tape. I know it sounds so crazy. I think you can buy fancy tape that's like meant to be mouth tape, but I'm like, it's just.
So you do your bedtime kisses before the tape, I'm assuming.
Yeah, I actually, I use Instagram sometimes. That's like my preferred social media. And one time I did like us at night. It was, I think, on our anniversary, we both had mouth tape on and we kissed each other with our mouth tape on. And I was like, this is 12 years of marriage, you guys. Just
you know, I do have one question unrelated to mouth tape.
Yeah.
The Copaiba, like the soft gel, I have the oil. So if I just did a drop or two of that in my water, is that the equivalent?
Same thing. Yeah. Okay. And to me, I'd just rather do that. Like some people were so excited when doTERRA came out with the soft gels, and I was kind of like, that oil doesn't even taste bad. It's just like kind of like
good.
Yeah. I'm like, why do we need it in soft gel? But anyways, people were
now
really...
DDR Prime I'm not
Yes.
sure that taste is one I enjoy.
Yeah. Yeah. Have to have a veggie cap for that one if you're not getting the soft gel form.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's not the best taste. Yeah, I feel you on that. But great question. So these are some examples of different nighttime routines that people will use with different supplements from doTERRA, or you, like we talked about, you can use the oil instead of copaiba. So Serenity capsules, these do have like other ingredients in them besides essential oils, and the same with Adaptive and Yaropalm. But with these different like nighttime regimens, it's honestly they're just different products, and they're formulated in different ways. And I think a lot of times without any sort of like testing or whatever, the best way to figure out what your body does the best with is just by experimenting. So the Serenity, the capsules, obviously, Georgia, your husband doesn't do the greatest with those, so he should use something else. But they have L-theanine in them, which is an amino acid that is shown to help a lot with sleep. And there's a lot of people that talk about Serenity soft gels being super helpful for them. Copaiba is usually my preferred option, especially for people that are dealing with like nerve related pain, or like just like pain in their body, because it can kind of be multi benefits for them, because they can use it for anxiousness and they can also use it for pain. And then the Adaptive soft gels, they were designed specifically for anxiety. So if anxiety is creating sleep issues, then that's usually the first one I go to. And then Yaropalm, the Yaropalm soft gels are just really great because they have a lot of building blocks for skin and also for immune support. They're kind of like an unsung hero, but yeah, I guess I don't even know why I made this PowerPoint over a year ago, and I'm like, apparently I need to restudy the Yaropalm capsules because I can't remember why I put them on there for sleep. I'm sure I read that it was helping somebody, but anyways, those are just different examples. This recipe is known as Liquid Calm. And again, just like a tried and true roller bottle recipe that lots of people have used for sleep in particular and really love it. Vetiver is known as like nature's like tranquilizer, pretty much. Like it's a very calming oil. When you smell it, first of all, getting it out of the bottle can be difficult because it's very like almost gooey, like it's from a tree resin, but it's just really thick. It's really thick. But I love the smell of vetiver. Vetiver with lime in the diffuser is one of my favorite nighttime diffuser recipes. But it's really, really great in this blend as well if you're somebody that struggles with sleep. I'm gonna skip over this recipe, but you can feel free to, I guess I won't skip it, but this is just ultimately another option. Again, it includes vetiver. Bergamot is also another one I love for sleep. And I like doing bergamot with the new eucalyptus that doTERRA came out with a year ago. It's like a blend of different eucalyptuses. But eucalyptus with bergamot, oh, it's so good. It's one of those ones that helps you be really aware of breathing through your nose, because eucalyptus helps open those airways, and bergamot also can help with stress and help you calm down for sleep. So just briefly, I wanted to explain this has been a really helpful little mood matrix for me, and ultimately it just kind of like confirmed and helped me be more aware of why I typically feel really drawn to balance. So you can see here, the top of the chart means you feel really fatigued. So you're kind of just like tired, right? And down here is more you're like stressed. Here is there's no peace, and here there's no passion. So if you feel like you're somebody with no peace and you're stressed, you're probably gonna like balance. Hello, that's me. That's usually where I'll struggle when I'm feeling stressed. If you feel like, and again, all of these are really extreme, right? Like to say like I have no peace, that's not true, but it's just helping us acknowledge. So if you feel like no peace and you're more fatigued, then serenity is going to be one that's really helpful for you. And then fatigue and no passion, citrus bliss is really helpful. It can help support people that are feeling more like almost like depression sort of feelings. And then no passion and feeling stressed, cheer is going to be a great option. So I'm going to read it. Oh, go ahead.
Is cheer the replacement for the elevation? Okay, that's what I thought.
So sad. Yes, it is. That's the other camp I hang out though in is over here. That's why I love elevation. Anyways. I sent you the replacement recipe, but I still haven't tested it out. I promise I haven't forgotten about it. I'll keep you posted. So Julie, a friend from, I think she lives in Sioux Falls. She might have moved now, but anyways, she said, I can never sleep in a strange place, like on vacation or visiting somebody. I put a drop of serenity and a drop of balance in my hands, rub together and inhale a few times and then rub it over my pillowcase. I'm able to sleep then. It's amazing what a difference it makes. Monica said, balance is what brought me out of the dark place. Thank you for all that you do. All the sharing. Thank you for all the sharing that you do. I am the one watching and listening and learning so that I cannot be in the dark. So the adaptive oils, have you guys all smelled adaptive? If you haven't, I'm like, it just smells so lovely. It's really good. We talked briefly about the capsules, and then there's also just like the straight oil form that you can put in the diffuser, or there's a roller bottle form that you can use on your pulse points. That's one that I keep in my purse. Anyways, Stacia, I don't know why this is so fuzzy, but anyways, Stacia is a friend of mine from Sioux Falls, and she said that the adaptive capsules have been really helpful for 7th graders. She struggles with anxiety and is a worrier. I was excited to have her try the adaptive capsule. The first time she took it was the night before a test. When I asked her the next morning if it had helped, she said yes. I asked how she knew it had helped, and she told me that the night before every test she takes, she gets knots in her stomach and feels sick. And for the first time, that didn't happen to her. Yay. Last night, she was overwhelmed with the amount of homework she had to do, took an adaptive, and was a completely different kid. This morning, she overslept, was an emotional wreck. And when she gets in those states, it's nearly impossible to get her out of them to think rationally. I had her take one and it almost immediately started working. She calmed down and was able to get ready. This capsule has been a huge blessing to have. I'm so grateful to have adaptive. And then Marie said, I've shared adaptive with a friend that has PTSD. He says he's feeling the difference from the oil. He's feeling the difference the oils are making for him, much calmer. Unbelievable. We read those already. Sorry. Oops, I'm going the opposite direction on my PowerPoint. Oops. Okay. Robin said for the past couple of months, she's been taking Copaiba soft gels and adaptive capsules daily to help with anxiety, smoking, moodiness. What a game changer this has been. As of March 2nd, I am no longer taking my Wellbutrin. Praise the Lord. I was never depressed. I'm that giddy up and go 52-year-old tweeting birdie. I had a hard time staying focused. I suffered from moodiness. I would smoke a cigarette to take the edge off my nervousness, and it chilled me out. I'm so thankful I found Copaiba and adaptive. This is my new thing for getting chilled out. So anyways, there's like so many more testimonies I could read to you guys. If you didn't know, the adaptive capsules for the remainder of today are still on sale. doTERRA is doing a back to school special, and the adaptive capsules and the On Guard soft gels, which we didn't talk about today, but they're so awesome, and the adaptive roller, they're all 20% off. And so it's a really, really great.
I did have a question on that, because I was looking at that, and I feel like, because we get 20% off with the wholesale, right?
25, yeah.
So is it 20% off of our 25, or is it not a great deal for us?
you get 20% off on top of your wholesale discount. So it's already 25% off for you, and then you get the additional 20% off.
Well,
So yeah,
that changes things. Just
it's a
go
really
in.
great deal. I'm just sad I missed the On Guard soap before it ran out. I was like, what the heck? Anyways, yeah, it's a great sale. And also, one side note, we talked briefly at the beginning of the class about the importance or the connection between the gut and the brain, right? And so the probiotic from doTERRA is also something that's been really helpful for a lot of different people in different ways. So for instance, if you're somebody that struggles with having regular bowel movements, that definitely can have an effect on your emotional health and stress and all that kind of stuff. And so the probiotic from doTERRA and Terrazyme are something that's really, really great for that. And I wanted to say that doTERRA in September, so next month, they're having their annual convention, and this is always the time of year when they either come out with new products or they sometimes reformulate things if there's new science that's come out. And they're going to be talking all about the gut at our convention this year. And they have sent out an email that says if you have either the adult probiotic or the kids probiotic on your loyalty order, then they're going to give you an extra discount off of the new products that's going to be coming out for gut health. And so anyways, I normally order that stuff anyways. We take the probiotic and my kids take the kids probiotic. But anyways, that's just exciting because whatever they're coming out with, I can't wait to hear, because they're always like, oh yeah, it's just so fun to hear like the new science and like from the different scientists and what they're coming out with. So anyways, I'm excited that we get an extra discount. So just an FYI, if you're somebody that normally orders the probiotic, don't take it off your loyalty order because you're gonna get the discount. So anyways, yeah, this on here is just some other examples of different blends that you can use for nighttime. And honestly, like in our house, we normally will switch things up depending throughout the year, just like I have fun with it. And to me, it's like a candle with side benefits instead of negative perks. So anyways, this is just an example of some of the things that you can get through doTERRA's monthly loyalty order. And the great thing is, as a reminder, if you order above 125 PV, this is, so there's like the dollar amount on your order, and then there's the point value on your order, and it always shows that when you're checking out. If you order above 125 and you order before the 15th of the month, then you get whatever the free product of the month is. So we don't know what the product of the month will be for September yet, but they'll announce it at the beginning of the month. And what I love about the loyalty program is, if you're ordering above 50 PV, you are earning a percentage of your order back in points. So when you're brand new to the loyalty program, you get 10% back in points, and then it works you up until after a year, like where I'm at now. Kizzy's at this now, Marion might be at this now. Anyways, you get 30% of your order back in points. So like if you do a 100 PV order, you're getting 30 points back. Those 30 points are equivalent to $30 worth of free stuff. And so basically, I just say that to say we love the loyalty program from doTERRA. It's so generous. And because we get things like our cleaners and our supplements and stuff like that from doTERRA, a lot of times I don't even really pay for our oils because I just cash my points in for the oils that I want to use. So if you guys have questions about the loyalty program, feel free to ask, because it's like a whole learning curve. And it's a great time to talk about it, because I'm sure if you have the question, there's other people that have the same question as well. But the last thing that I wanted to touch on before we go into full out Q&A is the Symphony of the Cells protocols. And this is, I'm going to pull out my book. Actually, never mind. My book is upstairs because I just gave a friend a Symphony of the Cells protocol. Symphony of the Cells protocols are basically a way to layer essential oils on someone's spine. So you're laying on your stomach, your back is completely bare, and then you layer one oil after the other. And the Symphony of the Cells protocols, the reason why they're so powerful is because when you layer each individual oil, you're getting the different benefits of each oil, but you're getting it individually. If you take, like, say, all these oils on this amoebic square and say you put them all in a roller bottle, the chemistry of all those oils is going to mix and blend, and it will change the oils. It doesn't mean they won't be beneficial. It's just you're not going to get each of the individual benefits of all those oils. And so, like some of the roller bottle recipes that I shared today, I share those because like lots of people in all of doTERRA have used those and had testimonies with them. So I know that they have worked for people before. But when you use a protocol like this, it just kind of takes some of the guesswork out of like, which oil am I going to use? Like, which oil is going to help right now? And so this amoebic protocol, when Tyler was first diagnosed with Graves' disease, to be honest, I didn't fully understand like all the implications of what was happening in his body. Like now I know, like, Graves' disease makes everything in your body go really fast, including like your heart rate and your breathing. It makes you a lot more anxious. Like your whole body's just kind of like wound because your thyroid hormone is going so fast. Everything's running so fast. And so anyways, in the beginning, I've probably shared this story before, but he would get like really stressed out and our marriage wasn't in a great spot because I was like, who is this crazy person? I cannot stand him. And anyways, like the example I always share, this was kind of like a breakthrough moment for me. We were on the way to church one morning. This had happened multiple times. We were late. We had a 10-month-old, my son Elliot. He was 10 months at the time. We were late and Tyler would always drive, but when we were late, he would get stressed and he would just drive like a crazy person. And I was like always so furious at him because I'm like, we have a baby in the backseat, like, stop it. It's not worth it. Like, we can be late to church. It's okay. But he would just get so wound up. So anyways, it would trigger a fight like every time this happened. And when this had happened, I don't know, like 3 times or something, I was like, really, like, you're ridiculous and so mad. It lasted all through church, like one of those like really good arguments. And we get home from church and I'm just still fuming at him. And then like out of the blue, this thought came to my mind. I'm like, I should do a Symphony of the Cells on him because he was still like we were both at each other in this moment, right? And I was like, go lay down on your back or on your stomach. I'm going to do a Symphony of the Cells on him. Like I said it like that. I went and got the oils for this protocol. I did it on him. And like, I just did it as fast as possible. I was not like being nice, like not giving it extra massage, like nothing. No, I just like did the protocol, which there's a demonstration video on the Facebook group. If you guys want like an actual demonstration, I wasn't mad for the demonstration. I put the oils on him and then I just left the room. And after like 10 minutes, I was like, what is he doing? And I went back in and he had fallen asleep. No joke. And it just like, all of a sudden I was like, oh, wow. Okay. Well, this is apparently how I help him when he's like in one of these modes where he like gets triggered by something and is just all stressed. And so really it was a breakthrough moment. And then I did these regularly for him. And it was a really powerful thing that helped me to support him through all the stuff he was going through with his thyroid at that time. So anyways, I share that like kind of as a joke because it's funny, whatever. But also just like in all reality, like I think we've all supported somebody that's like going through a lot. Whether it's Graves' disease or it's like, like a miscarriage. I've done done these for friends that have gone through a miscarriage or like lost a loved one or have a loved one that's currently struggling, or maybe they're struggling and maybe you don't always have like the words to say, but we all know that like safe physical touch is really powerful and really healing for people, and the oils are healing. And so that's what I love about these protocols. It's a great way for me to like practically support people and love them, and I'll pray for them while I do it. The protocols really only take 10 minutes, so it's not long, but it's a really powerful way to like get oils on people and support healing in their body. And it can even be a great little self-care routine, in it, like if you have somebody you trust that you can trade these with, it's a great thing to just do like one a week, to support you. The actual book, you get it from this website called truewellness.com, and I think it's like $14 or $15 for this book, and there's multiple different types of protocols. So there's this amoebic one, there's one called the infectious disease protocol, there's a chi protocol, which I don't know, it's he knows a lot about like Eastern medicine, so that's why he calls it chi. But it's one of my friends like literally had so much pain in his body. He had Lyme disease, and he would have flares with different with pain. And one time he went to the ER because his pain was so bad, and they gave him, what's the opioid medication that's like really heavy duty that's for pain? I'm like, what's the name of it?
So many. I keep thinking morphine, but there's fentanyl.
I think it was morphine.
Okay.
Yeah. So they gave him morphine, and then he went home from the ER after it was all said and done. His wife did the chi protocol on him, and he said that protocol helped him more than the morphine did with his pain. It's like helped friends of mine that have migraine headaches and stuff like that. Anyways, the Symphony of the Cells are one of those things that I like. These protocols, I love to have them in my arsenal, like my tool bag, as an option to pull out when like bigger stuff like that happens. So anyways, I just felt like I needed to mention that as a really great way to support emotions. And there's also great ones for sleep. Anyways, I'm going to open up the chat because it looks like, oh, okay. Oh, yeah, you asked, Kizzy. Yeah, so the Symphony of the Cells book is from truewellness.com. And then all of the protocols are in the book. Do you want me to run and grab my book quick? Would that be helpful? Do you want to see me flip through it? Okay. It's like a small booklet, but then it has flip open pages, and on one side it'll say like the name of the protocol, so like the amoebic protocol, and then it lists out all of these symptoms or like disease diagnoses that you would use, that you would use, that if you have those things, then that would be a reason to do this specific protocol. So you can kind of pick and choose. Like one of my friends, the one that I just did a protocol on, the diagnosis doctors have given her is fibromyalgia, but they're not really sure yet. And so anyways, I did one of the protocols on her the other day, that specifically on the side it said fibromyalgia, and then it tells you all the oils. And the one thing that I'll say is, you saw on the on here, like it requires a lot, like you use all of these oils in the protocol, but in the back of the book there's a substitution chart. And so if you don't have all of these oils, then it has like substitution suggestions. Or like, to be honest, I've been to the training where the guy teaches you all about these, the one that created this. And he says that you can substitute it, or if you don't have it, you can even just skip it, like use the ones that you have. And maybe Kizzy told you guys, or like, I think a lot of you guys might have gotten my text on my business line as well, but tomorrow we're having a class at 9:30 Central. And there's one of my friends, I'm trying to remember, we're having like 10-minute classes over the course of 90 minutes. So there's like 8 different topics we're covering in 90 minutes. And one of the classes is going to be all about the Symphony of the Cells. And so if you can join live, I can send you the Zoom link if you don't already have it. Or we'll also record it if you're not able to join at that exact time during the class. Just text me so I can just give it to you. Yeah.
The website isn't working for us.
It says for sale
Oh,
on list.com.
let me see here.
So I was looking for the book before, and I at one point it was on Amazon, but it's not
Oh,
available,
yeah.
and it wasn't it's not available, and it wasn't available on Oil Life, the oillife.com.
I just found he must have updated his website and been able to get actual symphonyofthecells.com. And I'm double checking to make sure the book is available. Yeah, $14.95.
Okay,
Yeah,
thank you.
yeah, no problem.
On which website was that? That you can get the
It's
book?
called symphonyofthecells.com.
Okay,
I just put it in the chat too, if that is helpful. You can
Okay.
copy and paste.
Do you have to
Yeah.
have attended his class in order to buy it from his website?
Do you have to say that again?
Do you have to have attended his class in order to buy it from the website?
It doesn't
No,
look
definitely
like it.
not.
Okay.
I think really the main people that go to his training are usually like wellness advocates and stuff, people that are teaching other people to do the Symphony of the Cells. I mean, any of you guys could go to his training, but it's kind of expensive and you have to go to wherever he has it in person. Or does he? Oh, are you talking about, I think he does he have a free course on his website now?
I don't know.
Is that what you're talking about?
No, I was talking about the class that you had to pay for.
Oh, yeah. No, you don't have to go to that. Yeah. Cool. So do you guys have any other questions about oils for emotions or sleep or any like specific things that you or a friend or family members dealing with? Or like if you guys have questions about the loyalty program or how to maximize free stuff?
Was there any oils you should avoid when you're stressed? That would increase your stress.
That's a good question. I think so. The thing that came to my mind is like, this is probably really individualized because I've never had an experience like this. But I was talking to a girl that I met here in the UK that she's used doTERRA for years. And Yarrow Palm makes her cry like every time she uses it. She said that she was trying to use it at first for skincare and then she just started like being a weepy mess, like she would cry like every single day, and so she had to stop using it. So anyways,
funny.
if you have a response like that to the oil, a specific oil, then probably don't use it. But I'm like, I have not heard of many people that have had that response. I'm trying to think if there's anything else. Yeah, no, I don't think there's anything particular that comes to mind that would make it worse. Yeah. But good question. Yeah.
so if you, instead of taking a soft gel,
Yes.
how many drops would you take then?
Yeah. So depending on, well, I mean, so generically, I would say like if I'm gonna do like, for instance, if I'm not gonna take a Digestin soft gel and I'm gonna take Digestin internally, I just do 1 to 2 drops normally when I take something internally. And I'm looking at the different soft gels from doTERRA, and like DDR Prime is really the only one. Wait, oh, okay. So DDR Prime has 4 drops in it. So say if you're like using DDR Prime regularly, maybe you're doing doTERRA's cleanse, then DDR Prime is a spicier oil. So I would put it in a capsule, a veggie capsule. And that, if you're doing that, you would do 4 drops. And then the other one is, so all the other soft gels, it looks like, have 2 drops in them, with the exception of DDR Prime. And then the other one is the Tri-Ease soft gels. Those are for allergies. So lemon, lavender, peppermint. and the Triaze soft gels have 5 drops total in them.
Okay.
So if you're doing something for allergies, I think most people I know, when they're using oils for allergies, they'll do 2 drops of each. Or what have you done before, Kizzy? Have you helped anybody with allergies with lemon, lavender, peppermint?
I haven't, only Cecilia.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, a lot of times when I'm sampling somebody, I just give them the soft gels because they're easier to test out. But
Okay.
yeah.
Is there a limit? Like, I take turmeric, but is there a limit to how many drops you should take?
Yeah, doTERRA has an ideal amount chart of what's recommended, and I'll share this in the chat as well. But basically, based on the research that they've done, they recommend, I'm looking at the chart right now, to not use more than 24 drops within a 24-hour period. So
Okay.
that's kind of a lot. I'm like, unless I'm sick, I usually don't even get close to
Right.
that. I'm trying,
Right.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I shared the recommended ideal amounts chart in the chat too, if you guys
Okay.
want.
Thank you.
But yeah, I think in general, it's pretty hard to get to the max
Mhm.
of
Okay.
what's
So what oils would all these oils work for kids? Or would you use different oils for kids?
for anxiety and stress and stuff like that. So basically, the generalized answer is like up to the age of 6, I try to use things that are aromatic or topical uses of oils. I say 6 because really it's like a weight recommendation. Like if it's a big 4 or 5-year-old, they can probably take things internally. But it might even be hard for them to swallow. I don't know. So it's like usually for kids up to the age of 6, it will be just as effective to use something in the diffuser or topically. And I would say all the same recommendations, like adaptive is really great for anxiety that creates stress. The anxiety that can create issues with sleep or with focus, that kind of thing. And for kids 6 and up, they can take things internally. So even like the adaptive capsules, some of those testimonies, like I read that one testimony about the 7th grader. She used the adaptive capsules, and just the other day I was reading, yeah, there's like a lot of kids that have benefited from specifically the adaptive capsules. I'm trying to find. But does that answer your question? Does that help?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. I guess you didn't really ask to know the more. Like, I'm like, so this testimony I had read is a 7-year-old. She's really active, rarely quits talking. She thrives on attention, and physical touch is her top love language. And so she can't keep her hands to herself, essentially. And when she started 1st grade last year, they were concerned with her behavior in the classroom. They wanted her to be able to learn and succeed. So they started the adaptive capsules and cut sugar almost completely during school. Being in the classroom, the mom could observe her, and her teacher was amazing. She was open and honest with them and patient. And then basically it says Addie, the daughter, could feel a difference in her mood and the way she felt her chill pill. Even the teacher noticed a big difference in her impulsivity and attention span. So basically it helped them avoid meds, is what it says.
So it helps with like attention deficit disorder type of a situation.
Absolutely. Yep. Yeah.
That was adaptive.
Yeah, adaptive. The capsules in particular.
Mm.
There was another one that I had read. I'm like, where is that?
I send the roller ball with my daughter to school so that she
Oh,
can put it on her back or on her neck. She
Yeah,
has
I love that.
use.
And she notices the difference with it too.
Oh yeah, she'll ask for it. So
That's
I use
awesome.
that one, and then I think it's Motive.
Yeah, Motivate.
Oh.
Yep.
Mm.
Those are both on the sale right now too.
I know.
Good.
I got a big order.
Oh, good. That's awesome. By the way, hi. I'm getting to see your face for the first time. So fun.
Tasha didn't realize she had a bunch of PVs saved up, and so she gets a lot of fruit products.
So I
So
did
exciting.
not realize that, and so I ended up getting like the kids kit for Olivia, and then like a roller balls for Tori. So I was pretty happy.
So great. Free points are the best.